Performing Gaming 420.
Nothing can compare to who could have been.
And this is where I've said that I think that private charity does pick up the slack for a lot of things. I mean, you know, Jimmy Kimmel made obviously a big to-do when he did a routine on his show in which he talked about how his baby son had been born. They took him to Children's Hospital. He had an open heart surgery, and that's why you need Obamacare. Okay, Jimmy Kimmel didn't have Obamacare. Jimmy Kimmel had private insurance. The fact is that private insurance, which covers the vast majority of the market, is still covering of pre-existing conditions because when you are employed and you have insurance, you're pooled with all the other employees of your company. That's the way it works, right? They don't charge you more with a pre-existing condition, at least in huge numbers, when you're getting it through your employer. So that's problem number one with Jimmy Kimmel is he already had health insurance. The problem number two that he didn't mention is that Children's Hospital is a charity hospital. A lot of people are coming in there with Medicaid, and the only way that people can get covered is not just through Medicaid, it's because there's a bunch of charity that's coming in and supplementing the Medicaid to pay the doctor. I know this because the doctor who operated on Jimmy Kimmel's son is a guy named Vaughn Starnes, and he operated on my daughter when she was a year and a half old. So we were at the same hospital, with the same doctor. The vast majority of patients there, I believe, were on Medicaid, and they were able to get care because of the charity that was involved. So my solutions are twofold. There's a long answer, but it's a complex question. So the answer is, one, private charity needs to be increased so that we can help pick up the slack, because if that doesn't happen, conservatives, note to us, we need to give more charity because if we don't do it, the government's going to try to. Okay, and solution number two is that we have to have a phased out program that takes care of the people for whom it's too late to actually make good decisions, but still encourages people to make good decisions now about buying their insurance, which means there must be a risk attached to not buying insurance. Yeah, sorry.
Just one ending comment. Two things. First of all, if you're encouraging people to buy health insurance, you know, at the age of 20 or an age like that, they're not going to have, you know, the income or the percentage to donate as much to a better insurance plan, you know.
You don't need a terrific insurance plan when you're 20. You need a catastrophic insurance plan when you're 20. And the truth is that most of the time you need a catastrophic insurance plan generally. You shouldn't have to go to an insurance company if you have a flu. You should be able to go to a doctor and pay cash.
And also, when you're 20, there are still people with pre-existing conditions that would jack up those costs, and getting it early might not help.
100%. But again, this is a time lapse question because the fact is that, you know, my daughter was covered under my insurance, right? If you're under 20, you're covered on your parents' insurance typically. So thank you.
Hi, Mr. Shapiro, thank you for being here today. I'm sure it takes guts to say those things, especially in a place like Northwestern, so thank you.
Oh, it's fine. I do it for a living.
So you mentioned a couple times about how there needs to be a national dialogue focusing on various social issues. Do you think that your caustic left versus right, liberal versus conservative language helps you change people's views, or do you think that your success, your fame, this tour that you're doing, comes from being a sounding board for people who already have established views very similar to yours?
So I think some of both. So I will agree that some of the things that I say are caustic. One of the reasons that I do this in caustic manner is because if you're entertaining people, then you're also getting them to listen to you. We live in an entertainment culture, and all of that is true. The second thing is the reason that I do that is because the most common left argument against people on the right is you're mean, you're nasty, you're cruel, you're bad. It's not an argument, it's a character attack. By me getting aggressive, that basically says to the left, okay, back off, we're not going to make character attacks on each other because we can do it all day. Now we can have a discussion. So you may have noticed that the last couple of people who came up are people who disagree with me, and we've had a very cordial discussion. I'm more than happy to have cordial discussions. But first we have to take off the table the idea that I'm an asshole because you disagree with me. So the way to do that is by me saying, listen, if you think that, then that kind of makes you an asshole. So that's the way that I do that, is to disarm the character argument so we can actually get down to brass tacks. Again, I think that the evidence is pretty good that I've convinced, you know, this is not on me, it's because people listen, thank God, is that I've convinced a fair number of people. I mean, I do get dozens of letters a day from people on the left who've listened to my arguments, and it's caused them to at least think a little bit more deeply about